Hey, everybody. Welcome to Let's Be Blunt, a podcast about living and loving everything Blount County, Tennessee.
We're your hosts, Brett Hepner and Eric Rice, the property dads at LeConte Realty, and we're excited to talk more about this great place we call home.
Well, this is a new one. We decided that we were just, because of where we are, we were just going to get back to nature with this episode of Let's Be Blunt. And we are here with Catey McClary, the CEO of the Great Smoky Mountain Institute at Tremont, right? But otherwise known as Tremont.
Yeah.
And we're very excited to get to sit down with you, and very excited to get to sit down with you right next to the star of the show, which is the river.
Yeah.
Right
We are in the heart of the Great Smoky Mountains.
Yeah.
So
We are. It's one of my favorite places on earth is
I can
the
see
middle
why.
prong of the Little
This is
River.
your office, huh?
It is, yeah. Yeah, we do a lot of meetings out where we are. I've also done a lot of interviews out here. It's a really good selling point to, get people to work here. When you say you can work literally right here in the Smokies.
I get that.
This is probably where I'd work if I was here every day.
Yep.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank
so
you.
Our show's called Let's Be Blunt, because we like to focus on all the people and the organizations and the things that make Blount County so great. And obviously this is one of them, but it might be a little bit of a mystery to some people. And so we wanted to shed a little bit of light on the organization, but also on the person who runs it. So let's get to know you a little bit and tell us what your connection is with Blount County.
Well, I first attended Tremont when I was in 6th grade. So I grew up in Middle Tennessee. My teacher at the time brought our 7th grade class to Tremont, and it was just a transformative experience for me. Being able to come here. We had come visit the Smokies with my parents growing up. They both went to UT. I grew up in Middle Tennessee, so it was, not too far. But just being able to come and experience this place for a certain number of days, I fell in love with it. And then I was fortunate enough to come and return back to Tremont. And just, my love for Blount County and the community here is only strengthened through that. So.
What a full circle moment for you, right?
Yeah.
To take this role on after as a 6th grader.
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, you
just 10 years ago, right?
So when you came as a 6th grader, what do you remember about it?
Oddly enough, I remember my teachers brushing their teeth. As a 6th grader, you think your teacher exists in the context of a schoolroom, and coming here and you start to see that they're a whole person and that they do things just like we do. I think it changed the dynamic and the relationship I had, not just with my teachers, but also with the students around me. And I remember a lot of the things that we did in the space in terms of, the food waste challenge, which we still do with kids, and just having access to the Smokies in a way that I had never seen before. And I remember my takeaway from that experience was really that my connection to nature was local. It was in a space that I had identified with. I grew up in, I was born in the early 80s, and at the time, the environmental conservation movement was talking about polar bears in the Arctic and, the acid rains in the rainforest and deforestation. But when we came here, that relationship became personal. And it was something that really was my biggest takeaway from that time, and something that I appreciate about being able to share with others now. I'm just incredibly grateful to be at Tremont and to be working with 6th graders these days and to help them have their own Tremont experience.
That's very cool. And also word is that you are hiking all of the trails in
Slowly,
the Appalachian, or in the national park?
In the national park,
park?
So trying to be a part of the 900 Club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's your favorite? You have any hidden gems?
Well, I do have some favorites. There's some thunder. I don't know if that's being
it's part of
picked
nature.
up.
This could be fun.
This could be a lot of fun. I always appreciate having a good view on a hike, but the hill that you have to climb to get there is always a challenge. So sometimes, those quiet trails that you just get to be immersed in the forest canopy is also equally special.
Yeah.
So I have some good memories taking my kids up to LeConte. So going up the Boulevard Trail was really fun. So oftentimes it's just, no matter what trail I'm on, it tends to be my favorite.
So you hiked with your kids to LeConte Lodge?
We did, yeah.
And how did they feel about that hike?
They did great. So it was kind of snowing when we started. So we pulled out, and they were all, preteens at the time, and were a little concerned about the hike. But once you get going, oftentimes they settle into the routine, and they were great. They enjoyed it. They want to go back. So certainly, worth doing with kids.
It's a tough hike, but you're right. It's worth the climb.
Yeah.
I mean, you get up to the top and amazing.
Yeah, I think I brought lots of snacks, like lots of candy, incentive. Yes. Yeah.
Everything you do with kids, it seems like if you've got snacks, you've got a fighting chance.
Yes. Especially, nerd scumming clusters, I think, are especially effective.
So give us a little more of your history. You said you grew up in Middle Tennessee.
I did, yes.
What happened between then and when you got here?
So graduated from high school in Middle Tennessee, and then ended up going to Appalachian State University. And so just really enjoyed the Western North Carolina mountains, started studying ecology, started spending a lot of time outdoors. And again, that's a tribute to my experience here at Tremont. And so as I graduated from Appalachian State, I ended up doing an internship with the fisheries biology program here in the Smokies. So that brought me back to Smokies this time as an intern. And then just absolutely loved that experience. I always planned to go back to graduate school, never did. Ended up working as a summer camp instructor at an adventure program for kids with learning disabilities in Western North Carolina. It was supposed to be a summer job, but 13 years later, I was still there.
Oh, wow.
And I was the CFO/IT person after 13 years. So really, it was an experience that taught me so many different assets of nonprofits, of adventure education, experiential education. And so I, at the time was looking for a next step and saw that Tremont was hiring. And I'd often joked that who was going to hire a CFO with a biology degree. But
I was going to ask what your undergrad, so it's a biology degree.
Yeah. Officially, it was ecology, I think, but essentially biology with a focus on the outdoors. And so, it was a natural fit. And I started working here about 8 years ago. So it was Labor Day weekend, or the week after Labor Day that I started. So almost officially 8 years.
In your current role?
Yep, in my current role. And it's been amazing.
And so you guys are situated sort of in the peaceful side of the Smokies, near Townsend, Tennessee.
Yes.
How is maybe the town of Townsend, I guess, or this area? I mean, how does that sort of affect your vibe, or what goes on here day to day? Do you have a lot of connection with the local folks, or are you just hosting tourists, or how does that work?
We are in Townsend, and so we're a part of the peaceful side. We actually purchased land in Townsend recently. So I say recently, it's been several years now, and we are looking at expanding to have a 2-campus model. So we have a lot of connections with the city, and really just appreciate the vision that Townsend has. It is not only a growing county, but it's a very busy national park. Yep. I like to remind people, yes, it's the peaceful side of the Smokies, but that means it's the peaceful side of the most visited national park. So it's, peaceful is one thing, but really when we realize that we at Tremont share so much of the vision for Townsend, and it is connecting people to this place, instilling that sense of stewardship for this place, and really what makes us happy to be here is that connection to nature. I think that I see those same things in Townsend, in the ways that they're trying to be welcoming to the tourism industry, but also preserve their own heritage and their own, connection to this space and this land. So,
and of course, the connection with the local school kids is undeniable. I mean, my kids remember coming here as kids. So talk about that. Talk about that program a little bit, and how that has sort of shaped what Tremont is. I would imagine you, much like yourself, get people who are coming back here saying, I came to Tremont when I was in 6th grade or 5th grade or whatever. Yeah, oftentimes when I speak to people in the community, there is that sense of nostalgia for their trip to Tremont. Sometimes we talk to people and they don't know what Tremont is. And so, I'm able to share with them that our work is really to connect people to nature, and not just in a way that they visit the national park, but
we are successful when we are able to help people develop a meaningful relationship to nature. And so when they come, they experience the national park, they sleep in the national park, they dream in the national park. There's so many opportunities they have. It's not just passing through, and it's starting to rain, so I don't know if you want to pause.
You want to pause and see if it blows over in a second, or
I'm worried about the equipment. I'm not worried about mine.
I'm not worried about
Getting
me,
a little
but
wet.
I don't know how heavy is this going to be.
Just
This is a
It'll probably be
first,
quick.
so
I love it though.
yeah, let's take a minute. We'll be right back. And we're back.
little rain can't scare us away.
No.
right.
At Tremont, we say there's no such thing as bad weather. It's just sometimes wet weather. So,
Which is what we had in abundance for a few minutes there.
we
But
did. We're
Somebody
back.
said to me, "There's no such thing as bad weather, just bad preparation."
Oh, sure. Yes. Well,
So-
we had that too.
I am noting a lack of raincoats and umbrellas, but that's
right.
fine.
So
We're here. We're still here.
Yes.
as you're watching this, there will be a 5-second pause in between.
Right.
There was more, so we have to recall exactly where we were. So
I was saying something great, I'm sure.
it was
right?
great. It was
yeah.
definitely great.
Yes.
I think it was
Yeah.
about the school kids.
Probably.
We were finishing up about the school kids, but yeah, we had a little 15-minute rain break, and
well, the one question that I had as we were talking during the break was, you had mentioned previously or earlier on that not everybody knows what Tremont is.
Right.
Well, there's probably people out there that don't. So give us a little rundown of, first of all, if you've ever driven to Cades Cove, you've driven past this little
Right.
entrance,
Right.
and
always wondered, what's that?
yeah,
Yeah, we get that question all the time in
Yeah.
the visitor center.
are
People
we,
come
2
in and they
miles?
say, "What are you?"
2 miles from the road.
Yeah, just about a couple miles from the road. So we are in. We talked about being on the peaceful side of the national park, but Tremont is a private nonprofit, so we are not a part of the Park Service.
Okay.
But we have an agreement with the Park Service where we are able to operate as an extension of their education mission. So essentially, we are here to help people learn and understand the public lands, help generate stewardship and really just that love and appreciation for the national park. We do that in a variety of ways. A lot of the programming that we do, the bulk of the program that we do is with school groups. So throughout the year, we have schools that will come to us, typically 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders, and they stay with us overnight. So they would come for 3 days, 2 nights. They all sleep in the dorms. You heard me talking about the teachers brushing their teeth,
Yeah.
but they have this multi-day experience in the national park. We are feeding them, giving them a place to sleep, but also taking them outside to explore. So they might learn about salamanders while they're here. They may learn about the geology. We talk a lot about the river and the waterfall, but also the cultural history of the national park and what makes the Smoky so special. School groups is, as I said, the bulk of the programs, but we also have traditional summer camps where kids from all across the country are coming. We have adult programs where we do naturalist certification courses for adults. We have hiking groups, photography workshops, a variety of programs for adults. Our women's backpacking course is coming up.
Cool.
And so if people are interested, you can sign up for that. And then we also, in addition to adult programs, we have a tier of community science. And what that is really helping connect the community to research that's being done in the national park.
Okay.
For us, that looks like having volunteers tag monarchs. They will also, we do bird banding, and so we put up nets and humanely trap birds and mark them and see what kind of birds are migrating through the valley at certain times throughout the year. We have salamander monitoring. There's all sorts of ways that we are getting people of all ages, just engaged with the national park.
So they help you with those things, the
They
research?
do, yeah.
That's really-
So in the fall, we will start monarch tagging, and we do it in a couple locations, primarily at Cades Cove. And so we have, the research authority to go out, and we put teeny tiny stickers on the monarchs. Monarchs are an incredible species. Many of us know them. They're the butterflies that will migrate from New England and all of these northern places all the way down to Mexico to overwinter. So as they're making that journey down, a lot of them do come through the national park, and we're able to put a little sticker on them.
Wow. Interesting.
And then when they go and spend winter in Mexico, a whole bunch of researchers will come down, see what tags they can find, and figure out those migration patterns. We know monarchs go through a variety of areas, but when we are able to better understand their migration patterns, we can understand the health of the populations and how we might be impacting that. So it's a really cool way to get people engaged.
That's a really cool.
What
way.
is the life cycle of a monarch butterfly? Like,
Well, I know that's
gotta
not the
be
topic
most of its
this
life
podcast.
down there and back.
Yeah, well, actually, so there's what's called the super generation, and so often it takes like multi-generations to make that trek.
Okay.
But then there's one
Oh, I
super
see.
generation where they do it in one single trek, I guess. And so
Yeah.
as they are going down to Mexico, it's just one butterfly. It's remarkable, and I'm not a scientist. I'm a nonprofit administrator, so when people start asking me more in-depth questions, I
see.
defer them to our incredible teacher naturalists that know much more than I do. So
Well, you did good on that answer. So.
That's pretty good. That's, and incidentally, that's what a lot of people from Michigan do when they are going to Florida.
That's
They
true.
just stop in
yeah.
this area. And
Yeah.
But that would be like
Cubans migrate just like the monarchs
right.
do, and that's a lot to
put a
learn.
sticker
the
on the
multi-generational
on their
thing is just amazing. Like, so there's some butterfly born in, Louisiana, and it's like, hey, when I'm born, I know I gotta head south.
Yeah, yeah. There's some
just
innate
move on.
calling that says I gotta go. I gotta go. It's amazing. I mean, and that's really what we try and do when we bring people to the Smokies is show them things that they may not have seen before. Pique their curiosity, get them asking questions, and through that, just appreciation for nature, through that understanding of nature, comes that love of nature and that desire to protect it, and that recognition that we are a part of nature, and the way that we live our lives is impacted both by the world around us, and also. For us, we see that positive relationship as having a benefit. So, we know that when we bring people out to nature, that their stress decreases and their curiosity increases.
Oh.
There's so many ways that our mental health and physical health is impacted by time spent in nature.
That's good.
So for us, when we bring kids, it isn't just about the science that they learn, but it's about the entire impact it has in their ability to, maybe regulate a little bit better. And, with that connection to nature, if we can have those experiences repeatedly throughout their lives, then we hope that they'll be better off for it.
So before we move on from that, I want to also add, and they'll learn a rap song while they're here.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I get that question a lot.
Do you want to? I mean,
I'm not a rapper.
Okay.
I can say it starts with an S and it ends with a T, and it comes out of you and it comes out of me.
Okay.
I know what you're thinking. It could be called that, but be scientific and call it scat.
there you go.
There you go. There's
You're
We'll
welcome.
lay a track later on. and we're gonna
Right.
put that.
Right.
Excellent. Well, I know you guys are working on a big project. You mentioned it
Yeah.
earlier. The second campus.
Yeah.
152 acre.
We actually
campus.
have so it's 200 acres now.
200 acres.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so tell us about that. What is the purpose of that? What are you aiming to do with that?
Sure.
What's and what will be different, I guess,
Yeah,
there than here?
I mean, a lot is going to be the same. We see this as an opportunity to expand the work that we do, to reach new audiences, to have new experiences, and so we are working on the plans right now, and we're actually. I don't know when this is going to air, but we're going to be making a major announcement in the near future. So y'all stay tuned.
Yeah.
But we are working on building out a second educational facility, and we've got it phased. And so our first phase is really focusing on creating a community center where people can come, and it can be groups of students for day programs. It can be groups of adults for if they want, a board retreat, or if they want to have an event out there. Like there's a lot of ways that they can experience that space. Here in the national park, there's a lot of wilderness practices that we use. National Park has a lot of rules. And with the second campus, we're able to demonstrate what it's like to be participants in the ecosystem around you. So what does it look like when we are decision makers for the land? What can we do to restore the land, work with the land, have the land inspire our buildings, but also the entire experience? So we're thinking about this new campus in a way that is really targeting that sense of connection to nature, but also that inspiration and innovation. And we're really excited about it. So
That sounds exciting. You've mentioned ecosystem several times.
yes.
That, I think is kind of a maybe a passion of yours. I'm not
It is,
exactly
no.
sure, but
Yeah.
the 2098 vision. You once wrote about what the ecosystem might look like to a camper returning in the year
yeah.
2098.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. I'll back up 100 years before I go forward 100 years.
Yeah.
When you think about the valley where we are, this was heavily logged. And so people who would have experienced this valley 100 years ago wouldn't have seen the same trees. They wouldn't have the same visuals. And so I often think about that and, think about the opportunity we have to recognize the past, to be, aware and present to what's going on around us, but also to be mindful of the future and how we can be good stewards so that we can create those experiences for people in 100 years. So in 100 years, I imagine the technology innovations are beyond anything I could ever predict. But my hope is that we have figured out a way to live with the land that feels not just sustainable, but feels like it is helping us all thrive. And so, for me, it's healthy forests, it's healthy streams, it's healthy rivers around us, it's clean air, but it's also healthy communities that live within those ecosystems. I still believe that we are amazing and spiritual beings, and we love learning. And so I think that our work will continue to be helping people learn, helping people to be curious about the world around them. And that includes the people that they experience that community with. So.
That's even more than I had bargained for, and that's fantastic. And I think that it feels like that this area, and this is what we talk about a lot on this podcast, is that the community in this area seems to kind of get that, and maybe understand that we're not just here for ourselves; we're here for that 2098 camper or citizen.
I think people in Blount County have a love for the national park, whether it's they have a family history of, their family owning land that became the national park, or they find solace in the recreation opportunities or whatnot. But there's also a strong economic tie to the national park that we as a community benefit from. And so I think that there's that connection, and there's an opportunity for us to really work together to say, how do we live in a way where we can manage growth, but also think about the impact that we have to be better stewards for the land around us. And that requires, community, but I think when we see those combinations of community and education and recreation and outdoors and economies just connecting positively, for me, that's the best case scenario that we can envision for the future. So,
one common thread when we talk to people in this podcast, and we've been lucky to do that, and, we just kind of did it on a whim, and there are so many interesting people around, and a common thing is passion.
Yeah.
And when I listen to you talk, you're not giving some speech that you memorize. You're speaking from the heart, and it's something you believe in. And I think I can see why 8 years ago they said, that's the lady for the job right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I feel like I had never been a CEO before. I had a lot of experience. I was a CFO, so I understood nonprofits, but I'd never been in charge. And for me, I think it was having a vision for what I thought Tremont could be that was, what excited me. And so when the board took a chance on me and said, hey, we'll take a chance, I felt that same responsibility to take a chance for Tremont's future and say, I want to protect this amazing place that we have, but also think about a future that may look different. And how do we, maintain the things that make us who we are and stay genuine and authentic to our mission, but reimagine how we can meet people where they are these days. People spend less time in nature than they ever have. I've heard statistics that say kids spend less than 7 minutes a day outside. Yeah, and oftentimes that's walking in between their car or from the bus stop, and it's not time, really engaging. And so for me, I am passionate about, the opportunities that we can create for not just kids, but to reconnect the adults to the natural world. And I bring that passion and that vision to everything that I do at Tremont. And I'm just so fortunate to have an amazing staff and people who believe in the impact that we have and just our ability to work together to achieve it. So.
And we mentioned a little bit ago where we are, and it's located. Thousands of people go to Cades Cove all the time.
Millions.
But it's yeah. And we're just a 2 mile jog off of that to this little hidden gem back here, I think.
Yeah.
So other than finding it physically, how else can they find out about Tremont?
Well, many people have heard of the Spruce Flats Falls waterfall, which is behind us, and there is a trail that starts at Tremont that goes up there. The internet has put that trail all over as like the best kept secret in the national park, and
now
you
the
know,
worst kept
yeah,
secret.
yeah. So now we have a lot of visitor, I would
But
say,
it is a
damage
great
to
hike.
the trail. It's a great
It is a
hike.
great hike.
It is a great hike. I will mention that we are going to be doing some major rehabilitation on that trail this fall. So there will be some closures. I know the locals that use that trail will be very devastated. But when it reopens, it'll be better than ever.
Yeah.
So when people when I'm trying to help people find Tremont, our website is often a great place to learn about the work that we do. But I also encourage people to, take that left turn on your
Yeah.
way out to Cades Cove.
Yeah.
Come in. We have a visitor center. You can stop in, say hello to Kevin or Russell or Vanessa, the people working there. Ask questions about the work that we do and just be able to support it. So.
And there are many other trails if that's the goal, I guess one of the goals. There are many other trails right around here.
Yeah, Middle Prong is right up the road. It's a great trail.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's by the water. It's awesome.
And so that is the best way. But you mentioned what is the website?
It's gsmit.org.
Okay.
So Great Smoky Mountains Institute at Tremont. And so, it's a great place to learn. We've got programs for people of all ages if they want to come and check it out. There's something for you. We'll reopen our registration for next year in October, so that's a good time. You can get on our newsletter. You can learn about all of the work that we do and then sign up for a program if you want to come spend some time with us in the Smokies.
And you have social media also?
We do, yeah. On Facebook, Instagram, it's Tremont Institute. And so there's, lots of ways where you can keep up with our work. We like to share on social media just either curiosities that maybe our teacher naturalists run across if they find a strange bug that just needs to be shared, or if they find a mystery of, something that it's, unsure what caused it. So it's a lot of fun. I suggest you follow along.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, Catey McClary, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for hosting us here on this beautiful campus. And good luck to you as...
Just one other thing I want to add to the people looking and that think maybe the rain had stopped. It hadn't completely stopped.
No.
So we really appreciate you.
I don't know if it's so much rain or just these trees just deciding
But
to water the ground
we're all
below.
getting wet sitting here.
Well,
so.
we talked about getting immersed in nature, and that's what we did today.
That's what we did,
Yeah,
so.
maybe people can listen to the podcast in the shower or something.
That'd be awesome.
And
That's great.
feel it.
Yeah, get a good feel for it. I
Yeah.
mean, you can hear the river.
You
so.
really can.
Yes. Yeah.
Hopefully you can hear us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thanks
Definitely.
again for your time.
Yep. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
So.
Good.
Well, I think we're all dried off now.
I mean, I wish we'd have recorded at least a little bit of the high point of the downpour.
We were standing next to each other and could barely hear each other. I don't think anybody could have heard us on the video. It would have just been us.
Exactly. Like just a whole time.
Which for some people might have been better.
It could have been.
I don't know. Let's take a
You
poll.
know, I've already watched all of it actually, and you can't tell. I mentioned it at the very end, which everybody just saw, that it looks like we're just sitting outside in that second half, and now there was water running down my face, and
there was water in places, but so Catey McClary, it was so fun to talk to her and just to visit Tremont again. It's a great place, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But Catey, she seems like the kind of person who is so much more comfortable outside than she is. Like, she would have sat there in that pouring rain and been like, I mean, as long as your mic works, let's go.
yeah.
She said, and I were like, wow, we're going to melt.
The statement you made about there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad preparation. Like, we're the poster children for that. We didn't have anything that's going to keep us dry.
No, that was a tough moment for us. But hey, live and learn, and ultimately, I think we got a great interview.
I loved it. I mean, like I said to her, she's just another one of those people that have found the job that she should be doing. She was passionate.
Yeah, and I think that while she doesn't live in Blount County, obviously she serves Blount County and the rest of the country, by doing what she's doing. Although they're independent of the national park, but connected in many ways and connected to Blount County so closely. It's a wonderful place up there. And if you haven't been to Tremont, you got to go do some of the hikes, check out the store, talk to Catey and her staff. What I haven't done is take any of their classes. Now we did some of it in Leadership Blunt way back when. Some of the things that they're talking about, hunted for salamanders, and different things. Yeah. It was pretty cool, and got to use their facilities and stayed in the dorms, and it was a great trip and a lot of fun up there. I'm glad that our kids get to enjoy that and be a part of it. But I think as an adult, you can find something if you search and go on the Tremont website. There's some really cool stuff out there that people would enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, there's trails, there's waterfalls, there's tagged monarch butterflies, which I didn't even know could be a thing.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, lots of cool information there. Thanks, Catey, for joining us. And you guys go.
One other thought that I had about it is when we tell people where it is, like you got to go all the way down 321. You go through Townsend, you go into the park, and then it's a couple miles back there. It's like people would be thinking, I thought you guys were focusing on Blount County. It is Blount County. You don't realize it goes all the way down there. I mean, it's the county moves into that. And that's another thing she mentioned about, and we've talked about the people that are passionate here about not only volunteer, but about the park. And it's because it's kind of part of us, It's like you live in Blount County. It's like, hey, we own part of the park, so take care of it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that I don't know about you, but and anywhere I've lived, and I think that most people wherever they live, if there's something this cool, which there's not, it's the Great Smoky Mountains, but in their area, people are coming from all over to visit the Great Smoky Mountains, and they, go to Tremont, and they take advantage of that kind of thing. And those of us who live 25 minutes away forget about it, and it's just in our backyard. But golly, there's just some great things. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. I stopped at the new restaurant, the All Day Cafe, in Townsend on my way back in. We'll have to go and visit them again. It's really good. Had a biscuit and some home fries. Ooh.
So you think we should go back to Townsend? How unusual.
Yeah, exactly. Our favorite
There's
place.
a theme there.
Yeah, definitely. So, anyway, good stuff. Good stuff out of town.
Speaking of good stuff,
what's new in the real estate market?
Are we skipping over Michelle? Are we gonna?
Oh yeah.
Is Michelle gonna?
Is she on the phone here? Let's see.
Hello, this is Michelle McClary with Movement Mortgage, and I'm bringing you this week's mortgage market update. Rates remain in the upper sixes, but buyers are adjusting, and mortgage applications increased from last week. Inflation showed some improvement, which could help the rate outlook, but volatility is likely to continue. So my advice is don't wait for the perfect rate. Get pre-approved now, understand your buying power, and be ready when the right home becomes available. You can always explore financing options later when the rates improve. My mortgage tip of the week: buying furniture, financing a vehicle, or even opening a new credit card, that can change your credit score and your debt to income ratio, even after you've been pre-approved. So before making any major financial moves, check with your loan officer first. Protect your approval today so that you can get the keys tomorrow. Give me a call with any questions or to start your loan approval, 865-806-6113.
I wonder if she listened to this and does she think, every time I speak, somebody should applaud, because when I do on their show, they do.
Studio audience approved.
Yes, always.
Well, it's probably don't approve of the interest rates necessarily. But
they seem to be stagnated. But
do you have
marry the house, date the rate?
That always That's going to be our first Let's Be Blunt podcast T-shirt. Is going to have our logo on the front, and on the back it'll be a quotation. It'll either say, "I want to go back," or "Date the rate."
Could be that, or I mean, we could also have Amanda Galuli quotes, or like singing. If you could have the audio of Let's Be Blunt theme song,
just her face on the T-shirt. That'd be good too.
All right. Well, people are tired of listening to us.
But do you have anything real estate wise?
Actually, maybe I'm not tired of it. Yeah, it's. I know we talked a little bit before we recorded this, and it's interesting. Hang on, Eric's got an itch. See, that's another reason you need to be watching this instead of listening to it, because that would have gone by everybody.
That's right.
Well, I mean, we talked about that. There's something. Since the interest rates started going up in February, it's had an effect on the market. And what we were saying is it just feels that way even more than it looks that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I know that there is actually a little bit of an uptick year over year in many of categories for July. It seems, especially in the second half of July into early August, that things have been really slowing down. I mean, which does make sense. You've got the start of school. Mm-hmm. You had the spring into early summer, and that's kind of when things really get going. But then, I don't know. You're right. I just feels like it's slowed just a bit, and that could be good news for some, and for those trying to sell right now, it's a little more difficult. So.
And the MLS updates, monthly. So we're right smack dab in the middle of the month of August. So in a couple of weeks, we'll see if the August numbers don't support what we're feeling. I have a feeling they will.
Yeah. Just a waiting game. So, all right. Well, I think that's about it for today. That's a wrap on another episode.
That's right. Let's see. I've got. Maybe I should start. That's a wrap on another episode.
That's right.
Join us in 2 weeks for our next one.
That's right. What topics will we cover? No.
That's right, isn't it?
No. Who will our next guest be?
What topics will we cover?
And what's new in the real estate market?
Well, let's find out. Excellent, Eric.
Fantastic job. Thanks for listening to the Let's Be Blunt podcast. If you have questions or guest ideas, or if you'd like to sponsor a segment of our podcast, please send us an email at the Let's Be Blunt podcast @gmail.com.
I'm Brad Hepner.
And I'm Eric Rice.
And we call ourselves the Property Dads. As local realtors, we want you to know and love this community as much as we do. If you have questions about real estate, don't hesitate to call us at LeConte Realty at 865-268-4180. We'll be happy to help.